Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
How are you? Why am I high pitched? Hey guys, how are you doing? Happy
Hey.
Sunday. I
Hey.
think Sunday is not our.
Sunday is our recording day, by
Yeah.
the way. So happy Sunday. I hope you went to church.
Yes.
I
What
hope
did
you
you learn?
learned a lot. I hope you
Tell
know.
us what you learned. So now we have comments. You can comment on Spotify, and we've been getting
Yeah.
comments, which is great. So
Yeah.
tell us something.
Means we are growing.
Bless us. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus.
Oh, are you talking to me? You're talking to the listeners.
To listeners now.
Oh, okay. When you looked at me and said, "Tell us something," I was like, "Oh,
No,
yes,
I was listening to what you were saying. You said we
okay.
were agreeing. So I'm like, yeah.
We
Yeah,
are
we're agreeing.
Oh my God, Ebu, I feel like
Oh,
15 years down the line, we'll not be like, this is where we started from.
Yeah, looking very fast. Let's be taking it one step at a time.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just okay. Let me not get too ahead of myself. But yes, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for all your love and support.
Mm-hmm.
We are back with another episode of
Girls Glasses God podcast. Woo!
You know, I'm not hearing myself one kind.
This
always happens.
Let's trust the process.
Okay, so we are back. It's Sunday.
Yeah. So how have you been?
I've been good. I've been great.
Anything fun happening in your life, or has anything fun happened in your life since the last time we spoke?
I don't know. A lot of fun things. Too many to count. Too many to recall.
When people start like this, obviously
You know,
nothing is happening.
But
Oh my god.
I don't know. Okay. Oh yeah. I do know.
What?
I had like people over in my house for
Oh, okay.
like I would say like a week. It was a full house. It was like and it was fun. Like, you know, there's a thing where multi people were in your house, or you are staying with somebody after being alone for a while, and then the next day after everyone is gone, you're now like
Not those of you that
yeah.
you again.
So it was very fun. We're always watching movies. We're watching all these Nigerian movies on YouTube. Normally, if you come to my house and you see my YouTube is full of like, I like all these K-dramas, C-dramas, but my YouTube now has like all these Nigerian movies, and we watch the ones that made sense, so the ones that did not make sense, so we watched everything, and it was fun. And then I was cooking a lot. Ebon.
That's good though. But every time I come to your house, you tell me that you don't have food.
It's okay.
But
okay.
you were cooking a lot.
Wait,
but suddenly,
see, let me tell you
when
something.
it comes to
let me
me,
tell you something.
yeah, you don't have food.
When there are people that they have the password to your house, like they can enter your house anyhow, they are like, the house belongs to them as well. It's when you now have people who are coming to your house for the first time that you treat like guests.
Something is wrong with
So
you.
no,
Obviously.
let me continue to what
I
I'm
hope
saying.
I'm part of the guest people.
You're not the guest. This house
Because
is your
I
own.
don't have a passport to your house. I don't
This
have your
house is
key.
your own. It does not matter.
I don't have anything.
So let me go back to what I'm saying. So I had somebody who had never visited me before in my house, and because of that,
So you now cook for the person.
I had to do so.
No, now friends they do. That person will know you.
Hello,
Like they do you.
it doesn't. Yes. I
So
will
you
say it.
cooked for the person, but
Yes.
me.
Ebon, this is not your story, by the way.
No,
This
you
is
guys,
not your story.
You guys should just start learning what friendship is from here. See, everything that we say here,
Yeah.
read in between the lines.
Oh yeah.
There are some friends that they won't value you because of see finish. When you start noticing those traits,
You cut them off. You will not put on your status, not looking back. I mean, not turning back. You will not
you
play
now
that
be
song.
like hashtag
Fake friends,
fake friends,
fake life.
my haters.
Anyway, back to my story. So, as somebody that is a guest in your house, you have to treat them well. That's the reason why I was cooking. Because if you're coming to my house and you've lived in my house before, you will fend for yourself. Like, the kitchen is there, work and everything. You know now what I now realized. So, because I had to make sure that he had a good experience in my house, and I was going into the office like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I will not go into the office. I will not come back and cook. And I realized that, you know, all those stories you hear of husband and wife
Like when you go out
that
and
have
come
the
back.
same work, and they go out and come back, and the wife will now come back from work and start cooking. I'm like, yo,
But you apparently you've been doing it. So
I did it, and I was like, hey, it's
but
a
you
lot
never
of
did
work.
it for me.
I did not do it for you. Don't worry. The next time you come to my house, the next time you come to my house, there'll be a different story. But now, let's go back to the matter at hand. Let's go back to the matter
So
at
the
hand.
next time I come to your house,
The next time you come to my house,
I will not even come to your house again. So don't worry, it's not your fault.
the next time you come to my house, don't. Evie, I thought as if no, you don't eat food in my house just now.
Did you cook the food?
You need to
No,
cook the food
did
now.
you cook the food? Did you cook the stew and the vegetable?
see.
Did you answer me?
The rice that you
Did
ate.
you cook the food?
Who cooked it? The rice that you ate, who cooked it?
Last week I came to Omo-Olorun's house. Omo-Olorun, do you have no? The first thing she said, she told me was she's not have food. I said, okay, no wala, you don't have food, no problem. She now stood up. She now said, there's one stew somewhere that's for somebody. Man, I'm like, get that.
But ask her.
Carry your food
Did
and
you
go.
eat the food or not?
I just pitied you
No,
because I was going to board the food. Like, carry your food away.
It's
Like,
a
I
lie.
don't care. Like, go and give your food to
It's
whoever you
a
want
lie.
to give
Hey,
it
don't
to.
worry. We all know the true story. The most important thing is that you ate that food. You enjoyed
Out of
it.
love now. See, me, I have unconditional love. That's the truth. I will not look at all the way you are treating me.
With the way we finished that last week. If you're not eating, you have fainted. Because
I
you did not
swear.
leave this house until like 3 or 4
I would
o'clock.
have, you think I will stay and be doing your hair? You not give me food. I will now stay.
It's just like, well, I'm going though. But
No, last week was I couldn't do anything again after I got back.
the highlight of what I was trying to say is that women tried. Like, let's say women are trying.
Child, you
I
are
mean,
preparing for marriage.
please.
You are preparing for your roles and responsibilities in marriage.
We are all preparing for our roles and responsibility in marriage. But you know the beautiful thing about it now is that
Oh my god.
this life is not hard again. Just like I was saying, did I cook the stew and the vegetable? I did not cook it all.
So you want to go and be ordering food in your husband's house?
Wow. My husband
How
and
is-
my house is.
How are you a wife material?
I am.
Hi.
2.5
You cannot come back home and be cooking.
See,
Eh?
even the people that
No,
are
no,
at
no,
home too,
Omo-Olorun.
they can cook as well.
Omo-Olorun, you cannot.
Everybody can
You cannot
cook.
come back home and be cooking.
I can come back home and cook. You can also
Please,
come back
please.
home and cook. So you know that's what we talked about in which episode? This is not the Mother's Day episode. About if somebody leaves, like if somebody is going to the office or somebody is at home, the person that is at home can always like get things ready.
But in this case, there's nobody at home in this scenario.
No, somebody is at home now. If
No. Let's say in this scenario, nobody's at home. Uncle.
if it is we have food inside the fridge now. It's
So you
just
don't
to
have
bring
food.
it out.
What
at
if
one
you don't? So, but the last time,
No,
you said
so-
you had to cook the food.
So that's because we didn't have anything around.
So let's say not this time around. Now you don't have anything in the house.
It's whoever that comes back first that should start work. It's true now.
Omo-Olorun, this is not
It's
how
true.
I'm preparing you
Yeah,
for.
don't prepare. I don't want this kind of preparation. Thank you. We don't need it.
You
But-
guys, this is just a. It's not. See, writing it down. This podcast will play it again because you say, Ebu was telling you
Nah, so-
how to be a wife. But
Yes.
that's good. It's good to hear.
The most important thing is that in that kind of situation, I feel like whoever gets home first can start. Especially if people don't have anything. Or that's why it's also important to plan as well.
Life is not that hard. It's people that are hungry. People figure yourselves out a
Now.
big.
So no, but it makes sense now that if somebody gets home first and you don't have anything, at least you start
What
something.
if I get home and I don't feel like cooking?
And you order food down now or something.
So you put
no,
figure-
that's what I'm saying. Like you just put things ahead of time in preparation for the other person that is coming back. So anyway, so that was how my week went. I had fun like with people that were in my house. Shout out to you guys. We watched some crazy movies. We watched some okay movies. It was fun and then work. And it felt like a very long week. I think this was the first full week back from the break, right? And it was just was this the first full week back from the break?
Yeah.
I also traveled. Now I'm remembering. I also traveled. I went to Indianapolis. I was there for just one day, but it was the combination of traveling, going to the office, going and coming. It was a lot for a whole weekend. But yeah, we thank God for life. And I'm here.
That's good.
How was your week?
It was good. Yeah, I traveled on Monday, came back on Thursday, worked on Friday.
I forgot to mention one thing. Sorry, We also had like for church the live hour. You look so tired.
It's a good thing that we don't have video right there.
Oh yeah. When you yawned just I was like, yo.
Right, guy.
So there was we go to
Victory House
Victory
live
Church,
recording.
right? Yeah. So there was Victory House live recording, and it was an amazing time in God's presence. Like worship. Oh, no. And you know the funny thing, especially if you've been to Victory Church, they bring out a lot of new songs like on the stage and all that. And I don't know who this guy was, or maybe the next person that acted as James during the Easter service. So he was one of the people that closed out the service, and he was like, yeah, that he was just thanking everybody, like leadership, the choir. He was not thanking like us, like the church people. And he was not saying that anytime they release a new song and they started that, people don't know the words, people are just like, people are singing and so encouraged. And I'm like,
And no, I love the fact that they write their own songs. Like the majority of the songs that we sing,
beautiful.
they write it, and then like, and because I'm also in production, so a lot of times I need to know the song, and then I need to know the beat of the song. So a lot of times, like when I listen to those songs, I don't just listen to the beat, I listen to like what the song actually says, and you realize the depth of those songs. Like in production units, we used to vibe a lot. Like we used to sing
the songs
and vibe.
The songs were very beautiful, and let's say I'm sure they sang more than 10 songs, because after Pastor Johnson came up and said, oh, there are 6 songs, like we had already spent like maybe 1.5 hours, and then we did like 6 months. So I'm sure maybe they sang up to 12 to 15 songs. And out of those 12 to 15 songs, there are some they had sang before in like church normally that they've not yet released, maybe like 3 or 4. The other ones, we didn't know the song yet. People were singing as if the words were coming from heaven. Like, it was just an amazing time in God's presence, and I can't wait for the album to come out as well. So so that you can go on.
That would be great. Okay, what was I even saying? I traveled, came back, worked on Friday, worked on Saturday in church. I volunteered for it's called Forward. It's an event. Oh my god, that event was amazing. Like, I told myself that the next time they are doing it, I will be there as a participant. So I just realized I actually haven't attended any Forward program
Forward
before.
again. You discover victories when you're just new to victory.
Forward is just, I don't know how to describe it. It's like they cover a number of things in a number of weeks. So Saturday was like the grand finale. Like, they talked about a lot of things. They talked about unforgiveness. They talked about soul ties. They talked about your new life in Christ. Like, it was just a wholesome.
So I think Forward is for like people who just give. No, for new believers.
No.
That's discovered.
Anybody can attend Forward. That's the thing. Like, which is a very beautiful part of it. Like, a lot of people were there, so anybody can decide to attend Forward. It's just like get more knowledge in certain things, and then like get your eyes open. Some of those things you might not be hearing them for the first time, but like you just see them in a different perspective. So I took like I got some things from there, even as a worker and things like that. Like I was like, oh, this is deep. So that was when I wrote one of the notes that I was like, no, in the future, like there's no way, because I'm like and that's what keeps me going to this church every time, because I'm like, see, there's back to back. There's no day you go and
always
you
on
just
fire.
As in always. Like, this one is not even sentiment or kiniko. It's the word. So which is great. So that was good. I wish I could talk more about Forward, but I don't know why. I should actually be giving more points on what we talked about. But overall it was good. And then you just realize, I think they were talking about, okay, so I think another thing I liked about it is people who come, like pastors, like people that you see, they'll come and tell their stories, right? Which is also very encouraging, because some people told stories about, there was a mother-father session where one of the pastors talked about his relationship with his mother, that was battling postpartum depression and never came out of it.
What?
And you imagine what that looked like, and then his father, like, he just like the strange relationship and how he was able to get out. Like, and you just realize that don't stop sharing your stories. That's the truth. That's what I want to tell anybody listening to me, is that your stories encourage other people who are also going through the same thing. You'll be shocked as to how many people are going through the same thing that you've gone through, and your stories and your testimony is what will get that person out of it, right? And I think the last episode we're talking about how some people grew up at home,
like different family dynamics,
or more like when some people share their stories of how they grew up, and I was like, again, you just can't control the kind of family you come out from, but at the end of the day, thank God for a gathering of believers like this, where you hear other people's stories and how they were able to overcome it, and it gives you also strength. So when the Bible said don't forsake the gathering of believers, it's not just a writing on the wall. It's actually very true. It's actually very true. And then it talked about soul ties. That soul ties on it. I was like, hey, like, I think the one of the pastors was talking about how she was having a dream about someone that she had dated like way in the past, even after she got married, and she had to like literally take it to a take it up spiritually is the word. So they talked about like emotional soul ties, talked about physical soul ties, talked about spiritual soul ties. A lot of times we think, oh, physical soul ties, you know, having sex with other people, but sometimes it's even like soul ties can be like deeper than that. Like we talked about emotional soul ties, where they say is work husband, work wife, like
and things that we normalize too in the society.
You are forming connection with somebody. Sometimes it starts innocently, but again, people that don't have boundaries, like, is everybody that you want them to know you want to know them, like at the end of the day you start to have uncomfortable conversations. If you have a spouse, then you start hiding from your spouse those conversations, because you're like, this person will think something is going on, and the moment you now start hiding, that's when like things start happening. So apart from like, oh, physical, you know, somebody can argue that not all physical soul ties are emotional. Someone say, if you have a one night stand, you don't have to have emotions about it. Yeah, that's fine. But a lot of times, like especially people that, you know, they now eventually now go and start cheating or make that a lifestyle, is because you've done certain things prior that you did not pay attention to, that you were not sensitive to. Like you've opened up that door. You've opened up the gap. There was one time it was like, Paul Johnson was like, you should not feel the need to check your partner's phone, but you should be able to. I was like, that's deep. It's like, you know how people say, obviously you should know each other's password and everything, but the moment you start feeling the need to constantly
check and you're afraid of what you're seeing there,
then there's a problem. So then they talked about like spiritual soul ties too, right? Like someone who never had like history of witchcraft or whatever, but suddenly started seeing some signs, and apparently had hooked up with someone who was the one that had like spiritual, you two in that process. I was like, what? It's a lot.
Even what you just said now, it just reminded me of, you know, Elizabeth was sharing, she was watching one particular video and she was sharing it with me, and she was talking about how this particular person, he didn't have anything related to, you know how in the US now witchcraft is like very prevalent, it's popular. Yeah. So people are getting into like, especially even the witchcraft from like Nigeria that we don't even they follow, but like people here are picking it up, right? And she talked about one guy. So this was like his testimony of how he came to Christ, but when he was talking about his background and his story, he mentioned how his girlfriend, something happened. I think he was like a drug guy, like he used to sell drugs, hide drugs, things like that. And he mentioned that there was one of his packages that he gives to people was missing, and then he was just so obsessed with finding the package. So that it was not like maybe it was a lot of money, but it was just a thing of, how can me, like as I am, like this now big in like this kind of like world, how can they take my package for me, that kind of thing. And that whole power thing just went to his head. And the person he was dating was somebody that she has family in, I think he mentioned whether Jamaica, like all these like Creole witches kind of thing. So it was something that he now, because he was like connected to her, like that was his girlfriend, he now said, that he needs to find a way to find out who stole this package, blah blah blah, that she should contact her family side that is witch, that has witch. that was how he got into that. Even him now, like he traveled to Jamaica, they went to pick him up, blah blah blah, and you know that's how he got into like witchcraft and all of that. Then he now talked about how even coming to the US, like coming back into the US, he now realized that okay, Hollywood and all of that aspect. And it just got me thinking about how people that's like a physical, like your physical relationship with somebody connected you spiritually, like that spiritual soul type. Because if not for the fact that person has contact, like why would you feel the need to? Yeah. So a lot of things involved in these soul ties. And even when you're talking about even emotional soul ties too, right? I know I do a lot of reading online about like people's stories and things like that. And people will tell you that, you know, there's emotional cheating. Okay, people will say, is cheating only physical, or is it also emotional? Because something that you cannot tell your spouse, and you feel like you can tell, like quote unquote, your work husband or your work wife. That's where the problem starts. So like I always say, like you only need a crack in the door. Yeah. So let's say it doesn't even go to the physical, but you are sharing deep things with that person that you're probably not sharing with your spouse. Is that cheating? Yes or no? It is in a way, because again, it's when you say two have become one, that's the whole point of marriage, right? Like
what you know what it means for two people to become one. Like imagine you have all this cartoon that we used to watch that one person will jam one person, they will not become one person, they now become fat. Like that means that there is nothing that should be hidden in. You can't hide from yourself. It's just like how the Bible said, as a man, like there's this scripture that says if you cannot beat yourself, what you will not do to yourself, you can't do to your spouse, right? Because it's like your spouse is you are your spouse. That's the whole point of two become one. So if you now have somebody else that you are having a deep connection with, and see, and this thing is more common than we think. And I know people say things like, oh, can you ever get over your first love, like someone that maybe you loved first and everything. And this is not the conversation. This is not the forum for that conversation. At least today is not the time for that conversation. But the thing is, soul ties is real. Like sometimes you have to actually cut it off. You can't tell me that, oh, I settled for this one, but the one that I would have married,
and the one that got away.
I've heard that story a lot of times. It's like you break up with someone, but your heart is still with that person. Like if the person says jump, you go. But you are with this person. Like you are managing this person. And you think it's normal. It's not.
Actually, because like I said, there is a lot of things, and both the weird ones and the not weird ones. And the one very prevalent like trope, especially because I've been thinking about my writing, that is because like first love, right? And sometimes and again, because a lot of people date when they're like in high school and all of that, and then you see some stories where you are like a full-fledged woman, like you are 29, you're a boss, you're a this, you now meet your first love from high school and you're not shaking.
Not become
like, are you okay?
No, it's real.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about that, because it always annoys, because I'm like, please, like, pick yourself up. Like, what do you mean? Somebody from when you were 14 or like 15, but like,
and because the person
because
was
they don't
there,
cut off that connection. Like,
the person was there at your most vulnerable moment. Like the person that's the person that first saw you, all your foolishness and everything, and you just can't see beyond that. But the most important thing is, a lot of times we also tend to think, oh, it's nothing, like we don't talk again, whatever. My guy, pray that God will remove that ties from you. Like because we casualize a lot of things rather than actually taking them to God, right? And someone will say, oh, you are too spiritual, you are too
this life is
soul
spiritual.
Ties go way deeper than that. So you are wondering why, when you hear someone's voice or when you see someone's message, even though you think you have moved on,
you start shaking again.
It still gets to you, and you think it's normal, my dear. You never start. So, that's why I said, like, the whole forward program is amazing. And then at the end of the day, they give us like a letter from God. I haven't even read it, but it was good. So yeah, soul tie. It's a very deep topic that it will like require a whole lot of conversation. And I know people are going through. It's very, very interesting when someone says, I just married her because like the person I was dating before was not ready. So the next person that was ready, I got married to them. If you have somebody at the back that you're talking to and you want to get married, just move. Just move back. There's no point. There's really no point. So anyway, that's that about that. If you want more conversation about that, come and pay me.
I'll be only paying. Somebody now, imagine somebody was just crying now as you finish talking, and next thing say, come and pay me, and it's like the person just came out like anyway. But
if you're in that, please seek help or pray. Honestly, like you don't casualize things like this.
What did we even talk about in church today about prayer?
You have peace. You have peace when you pray.
That is not only about.
I wrote it down.
It's not even only about talking to, like, this thing was a very like I don't know what I just realized. Not just realized, but I'm trying to consciously. I say like a lot. So
don't we all?
I am going to be.
If we are going to be people who live in peace, we must be people who live in prayer.
Yeah. And it's not to only talk to people about. The Bible says, "Do not be anxious for anything. We're in prayer, supplication, thanksgiving. Make your request known to God, and then the God of peace, which passes all understanding, He will give it to us, right?" And Pastor Johnson made a point today that a lot of times we only talk to people, or we complain, or we talk to everybody except God about our problem.
And we are praying for peace.
And we are praying for peace.
Yeah.
So even in that anxiousness, or even in that thing that you're still thinking about, maybe you are still connected to somebody that you should have left behind.
Yeah.
Talk to God about it. Ask him to give you, talk to God about it, and he will give you the peace. It's not give you the peace. Talk to God about it. Read that verse again. Talk to God about it.
Yeah,
and
so
he'll give
talk
you
to
the peace.
God about it.
But we mentioned that we are growing on our podcast, and we got a comment. Or
We got comments, but this one we got
specifically,
a question.
From our episode on navigating corporate America as Nigerians.
Yeah.
And do you want to give like a summary of?
No, I can read it out. And that's just because, like, aside like getting comments like, oh, what you're doing is good, but I felt like this might help like someone else who I will paraphrase it, obviously, who might be going through the same thing. And then we can talk about our responses, and hopefully that also helps someone else who's going through the same thing. So this person says, she listened to our podcast, wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you too for listening. And the person said, as a 21-year-old Nigerian, we know one guiding in corporate America or America as a whole. She has a question, right? She just started. Actually, let me start again.
You go on.
Huh?
No, go on. Okay, it's fine.
So yeah, she just started. Okay, actually, let me just read it. I just started my first corporate job in the US 6 months ago, and we have like team meetings coming up where I have to fly out of state and all. I'm super nervous and so scared because I have never done anything like this before. I am really introverted and I don't know how to do small talks. I also lost a lot of confidence when I came here because of the comments I would get on my accent and how people would get dismissive after they hear your accent. What is your advice for me or tips when it comes to speaking in meetings and rooms where you are clearly different and you have your Nigerian accent? How do you stay confident with your accents in these majorly white spaces? I have been made fun of for having an accent and it really dropped my confidence. How do I do small talks? That's the meat of the question. So,
if I want to say something about how when I also came to the US, right? I think that's a learning that everybody has to go through, right? And the reason why I think for me it was cushioned was because I went to school first. So I imagine if I had just come straight from like walking in here, it's have been a whole different story, right? And I remember one of the very first events, and I think you were at that event, we went for like a career fair, and then the school had hosted the school had hosted a networking reception. And we got there and people were standing, like very new concept, people were standing and just talking to each other, like there was like small bites of food, like there was small bites of food. And I remember walking up and I was just in conversation I was not even in conversation, I was standing there and people were talking. I kept on thinking to myself, how are people just talking?
what do you say?
What do I say? And I remember, I think we were together because I think you were also in the circle, maybe like 3 or 4 of us. I just kept on saying things and I was just looking. And the other lady, she was, I think, a professional MBA student or an executive MBA student, most likely professional MBA student. There was a time when there was a lull in conversation, and it's supposed to have been me that would have, like, knowing what I know now, it should have been me that would have picked up that end of conversation to just say something. And I was just looking like, I was just nodding my head like. But I had to observe, and I watched somebody. Toby is very good at small talk. And one day I was just looking, because I was just thinking that, wait, like, okay, yes, me, I know I'm smart, I know I'm this, I know I'm that, but why is it that once people just start having conversation, I just don't know what to say? It's not I just don't know what to say. I don't know how to bring up conversation. I don't know how to do anything. And I just noticed that Toby will talk to everybody. Oh, hey, and he will just talk to everybody. And one day we're walking back together and I was like, how do you even have conversations with people? And he said, I can't remember what he told me, but I just started watching him. And I realized that sometimes he might not even say anything. He might just revert the conversation back to you. So you might be saying something and maybe you're talking about maybe football or something, and you just start, you don't end up talking, but like you are pushing the conversation back, pushing the conversation. So that was how I learned initially. And then at a point too, I started picking small things when somebody says, oh, you know, I went on a walk somewhere, I'm like, oh, where are you staying? Like, I just started to continue those conversations, things like that. So I think that aspect of small talk is always a very, especially for Nigerians, it's a very delicate for us, because initially when you come, you're thinking, why are we even having these conversations? What's the importance of these conversations? Why are we, like, let's get straight to the point. Is your glasses broken? It's like, let's get straight to the point. You know, when you come on calls, it's like, why are people just talking? Oh, I ate this for lunch, or I ate, and you're like, let's start what we came here to do now. But you know, those are things that help you build connection with people, that help you build connection with your team members, your classmates. And at this point now, I would say, I don't want to say I'm a pro, but I can make the best small talk ever. I can talk without feeling that same fear that I felt the first maybe 3-4 months that I came into the country and I didn't know what to say. But yeah, you can go into our response. But what I'm trying to say is that it's when you are coming from a place like Nigeria, where this thing is not, I don't really think we do small talk the way they do small talk here. Do we do small talk? We do small talk, but it's not.
It's because the environment is different.
Yeah.
Right. So remember, like at work, I remember when I was working, myself and my team members will talk about a lot of things. We'll talk about a lot of things. But like what you're talking about at that time is not applicable here.
Yeah.
Because it's totally different concepts.
Very true.
So we didn't consider it as small talks because they were normal conversations that you just have.
You have with people.
Right. So if you wanted to buy a clothes or something, somebody tell you, this your dress is fine. Where'd you get it from? Those are small talks.
Or even when things like shows are airing, something like BB Niger or something. That's
you go
something
to the office, everybody's talking about
So
but now you are in an environment where you have no idea what people, even me till now, I still Google things when people talk about it in meetings. Like I Google it and try to understand what I'm talking about. Some of the things I know, some of the things I just learn. Right. So I think that's just the difference. And it's very hard when you're moving from, like, you remember what Justin said, that the first time he went to church, like he came to the realization that he's white. I'm like, it hits you once you enter America that you're black.
Like, because when you're in Nigeria, all of you are black. Like you're not thinking about
concept of black.
There's no concept of color. Like you are all black. So you're not even thinking it. It's not a question. It's not a conversation.
So now you're not just black. You have an accent. So yes, again, the response is, I wish I could tell you that is going to be better, but you have an accent and you have an accent. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes you can code switch, but even when you code switch, they will still say,
You can see. They you know the funny thing is that in your head, you think you sound different, but the next thing you know, somebody's like, oh yeah, I hear an accent. Where are you originally from?
Guy, there was a day at work, someone said, oh, do you want anything? I said, I want sneakers. The person says sneakers. Apparently, the person is thinking of sneakers as the shoe that you wear. Please, how do you pronounce the sneakers that you eat?
Sneakers now. Snickers.
I don't even know how he said this, but in my head, he started the same to me.
It's the same thing now.
I was like,
the shoe one is Snickers. The way you pronounce chocolate is Snickers.
The way the person pronounced it is different in his head, but it started the same to me. But apparently, there's another way to pronounce sneakers and sneakers that I don't know. That my accent will still come out if I'm saying sneakers or sneakers. So, but at this point, I never take offense because, first of all,
pick your battles.
See, this accent is not going to leave anytime soon. Maybe when I have children, they can pick it up from there. But I grew up in Nigeria for the majority of my life. Of the life that I've lived so far, so there's no way
before your accent will even change. I don't even think because you've even grown. It's going to be very hard to change. It won't change. You might just change the way you say certain words. But the accent
it's not going to change.
I'm thinking, okay, you've lived for 20 plus years. Maybe if you live for 30 plus years in this country, will your accent change? Like the number of years you've lived in this country outweigh the number of years you've lived in Nigeria.
It depends on where you come. So for instance, look at the people that we know. Some people that we know that they were born in Nigeria, but they came here early.
Like teenage years. Yes, your accent can change.
Your accents will change because now you are 20s, schooling. So now the environment changes, right? So when you come here to school, you school here in high school or in college. So between high school and college, you are surrounding yourself every day with people that speak differently from you, and there's also a lot of pressure to talk in a different way, there's a high probability that your accent will change.
Your accent will change, and you also slow your speech.
Yeah.
You also slow your
but if
speech.
you've used secondary school, university in Nigeria,
That's it, like
university in Nigeria, you now come here.
Maybe you've worked for 2 or 3 years.
You are not saying that which accent is
It's
changing.
not going to change.
I beg you.
Even when we were in church, like back in Athens, there were some of the kids who had come from Nigeria. They were born in Nigeria, but maybe they now came here. So
The accent already
their
changed.
accent has
I know.
changed because children are more adaptable. But
So that's the first thing. Your accent is not going to change, so embrace it. Besides, I don't think ours is even worse. I don't think ours is even as bad, to be very honest, because I think we speak clearly. The way we say things might be different. The way we
speak
emphasize
fast.
words. Some people don't. I've met some Nigerians who don't. But the way we emphasize our words are different. The way we say our words are different. So
Nigeria. I think maybe it's a stereotype thing because in my head, I think all Nigerians. Obviously, I can't say all Nigerians.
I've met,
but majority of Nigerians are fast talkers.
I don't think it's majority. Maybe a good number, because I've met, in fact, I know somebody very vividly who talks with a Nigerian accent but talks very slowly.
Person is Nigerian.
Yeah, born and bred.
I'm surprised.
There will be people that don't talk as fast as we do. But
No, but it's still faster than like the cadence is still faster than a typical American, maybe.
yeah, maybe I don't know. It's just, again, all these things are very subjective. It's very relative to who we are comparing or what we are comparing to. But the most important thing is, number one is come to the realization that it's not going to change, and then now once you've realized that, then what next? So number 2 is, I think one of the things you touched upon is observe. You learn very fast when you observe. You pick things up very, very fast. Again, when you come here, in Nigeria, we don't talk about dogs and cats as small talks.
Yeah.
Right? You don't talk about the weather as small talks, because everybody is experiencing the same thing. Worst case scenario, maybe people in
like,
Lokoja,
oh, this rain,
or
or
people that
this
in the
rain,
north,
maybe it's rain fell that day.
hotter.
Like, oh, this rain, no.
So that's the only thing. So we don't talk about certain things, but here you if you are very observant, you quickly pick some things up. You realize that, in every conversation people are talking about this because the weather is different for everybody in different places. So those are some of the cues that you pick up. And then another thing that we wrote is, genuinely care about people. Because when you first come, it's a very daunting task, having to listen to people just talk and talk and talk and talk. In fact, you could do happy hour, you go to classes together, you go to the bar together. I'm like, are you not tired of yourself?
I have been tired of, and it's the same conversation, not the same conversation, but it's still talking. You're not doing anything.
I know enough already. But the thing is, and I realized that when I started working, like, when you truly care about someone and you listen to them say something, then you are able to, in the next conversation, say, hey, you mentioned this the last time, how is it going? Right? Like, how is it, like, genuinely care about learning from people and genuinely care about people. So if you genuinely care about learning from people, I ask questions. Like, if I don't know anything, like, if people, like last week when I was talking about some things with my colleagues, like, they were talking about some food that I've never heard before, and I was like, oh, what's that? Like, how do they make it? Like, if there's a relation to something like that in Nigeria, I'm like, oh, we have something similar in Nigeria, but we call it this. Right? So genuinely actually be curious to learn, because another thing that America will teach you is there's so much that you don't know. And there's also so much that people don't know that you can also
educate them on.
So it's a win-win.
Another thing I just thought about now is the fact that for food, especially excuse me, especially for me, because I don't eat certain things, and maybe it's the bias or the mindset you have in Nigeria that, when you come abroad, things that are normal to them, obviously, and again, there's that thinking of, that's why you have to embrace yourself and you have to embrace your culture and where you're from. Things that are normal to them are not normal to you. So if they are talking about something that is a very American food, let's say, for example, mac and cheese, you don't have to feel obligated to act like you had it before or you enjoy it or something. You can say, I've never had that before, like, so I don't eat cheese, I don't eat. So initially, when I didn't used to like to go out because I felt I was burdening people by saying I don't eat this, I don't eat this, I don't eat this, because I now felt people would think you cannot eat this thing. You know, we have a very classist mentality sometimes in Nigeria of, oh, you're a bush girl if you've not had shawarma before, things like that. So I just felt very burdened, like telling people I'm looking through things. But now, anytime we have, like, maybe we go for like a happy hour, we have something that we have to order food together, I bring out my phone and I tell people that, oh, I have allergies, I need to make sure that everything on the menu, I understand what it means. So if I'm seeing something on the menu that maybe I say, what is this? This is a kind of cheese. Do you know how many kinds of cheese Americans eat? The name is not even cheese. They will just write something different. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's not something that I've had in Nigeria. It's not something we have in Nigeria. Or it's not something that I was exposed to while we were in Nigeria. So anytime we have to, like, have a dinner or something, I'm bringing out my phone, and whoever it is I'm around at that point, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just checking the menu to make sure that I can eat everything. And they will not be the ones telling you, oh, you can have this, try this, tell them to remove this. People are actually very, I don't know if caring is the right word,
helpful.
But they're very helpful. They're very gracious. They listen to you, like active listening. They're not just listening for listening sake, like, oh, let her just say what she wants to say. They are listening and they are saying, oh, you know what, let me check that up for you. Like, people will actually bring out their phone and say, okay, let me check what this means, let me check what that means. So you need to also be as authentically you as you can be, and don't be shy or don't be scared to say, I don't know what that means, or I don't have
ask questions too. Ask questions, just like you were saying. I remember, like, I think 2-3 years ago when we went to eat somewhere and it was tartare that was on the menu. Tartare is raw meat. I had no idea. I saw meat there. I did not see that it was raw, or maybe I didn't look as well as I was supposed to. It was when it came, I was like, what is this? So I'm like, ask questions. If I'd asked, although that one, it was the way they coined it was like, when I ate it, I was like, wait, what is this? They were like, I'm like, nah, I don't eat raw meat. So just ask questions, like. And I know that, a lot of times we are very shy because we don't want to be seen as that Nigerian girl who. But
sometimes it's Nigeria that is doing us sometimes, because that mentality of, oh, you're a bush girl, or
I don't think it's Nigeria. I think there's just this thing of feeling among.
No. So
that we usually want to have.
Did it never happen to, or you never saw it in Nigeria where if everybody is, things like, okay, maybe when we were in school, like shawarma. If you say you've not eaten shawarma, people will look at you weird. Or if you say you've not eaten pizza, or all these quote-unquote fancy foods.
But I get what you mean. But it's a little bit different from, like, everybody is eating this food. Like, everybody is eating, say for instance, cheese is in fact, that's America's food. They have like 1 million types of cheese, or coffee, right? That's something that it's not, you're not being bougie by that. Like, you are normal if you like cheese, or if you like coffee. That's how you know who an American is. So you don't want to look abnormal. You don't want to look like, oh, Nami don't like them, or I'm the one that can't take cheese, or I'm the one that can't or that can't eat this, or that can't eat that. I'm the one that's always complaining that everything on the menu I cannot eat it. You don't want to be that girl that is always, like everybody's, eating this, and you're like, what's that? I cannot eat it. What's that? I cannot eat it.
No.
So
what I'm even trying to say is that for the examples of like cheese and coffee, you still know what cheese and coffee is. Even if you've done eating cheese before, you still kind of know what cheese, or even if you've not had coffee before. But when you are hearing a food that you don't even know what it means, and everybody is like, everybody else automatically understands what it means.
Yeah,
and you're the only one that is
that one
that.
You ask.
So
open your mouth and
sometimes
ask.
too, there's a tendency to say, if people know, maybe I should also know what it means. And so that's why I'm relating it to the bush girl kind of thing. Like, oh, you haven't had this, or you haven't had this, or you don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened to me with this food one was, I went to a restaurant and I think I ordered some kind of steak, chimichurri steak. Because I ordered it there, I now love it. And the fries that were there, I saw truffle fries, but because I saw fries, I was like, oh, it's fries now. And they brought it for me. Tell me why this fries was cheese all over. I was not like, excuse me, like, why is there cheese on my food? Like, I was not like, oh, is this cheese? So the people that was having, my colleagues were not like, oh yeah, that's what truffle fries is. Like, truffle fries is like, they means they put cheese on it. And I said, I did not know. So somebody now swapped with me because he had not yet had it. I was like, oh, are you sure? And I said, yeah, that he likes it. He now gave me that plantain or something. So from that moment I said, anything they attach and say, okay, something meats. What is that something before the something?
Yeah.
I was like, I never knew, but
yeah,
it's something now that they all knew, like, when you hear truffle fries, to them it means okay, there's cheese on the fries. But to me, I just saw fries and I was like, okay, maybe they shaped it in a truffle. I don't even know what I was thinking. Maybe it was a different shape or something.
My dear.
So
yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions. And then another thing is, I don't know. I wanted to say something. I just blanked. Oh my god, I've lost my train of thoughts.
Even apart from asking questions, right? I think you also have your own personality. You also have a voice that is Ebun's voice, a voice that is Omo-Olorun's voice. And I think we tend to always press down or suppress who we are and think we need to conform to like what everybody is saying. So for example, if something like, let's say a movie now that is very popular, let's say Game of Thrones, that just came to my mind, and everybody, let's say it's, for example, let's say something that maybe Game of Thrones is the air and everybody's like, oh, I love Game of Thrones, kinikon, and then you know personally you hate it, or you don't like, maybe you don't like the style of the narration or whatever, you have your own reasons, but because of that, and people are like, oh, Ebon, what do you think about Game of Thrones? And you're like, it's okay. But you can also share your opinions, and you know, when you share your opinion, people will now be like, okay, Ebon thinks in a different, it's not even like quote unquote like in a negative way, thinking you think in a different way, but they now understand, okay, Ebon does not like this thing, why does she not like it? So then it now becomes something. I told my colleagues I don't like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is nice, like I ate it a lot, but the reason why I don't like it is because when I was in Georgia, when I was in UG, I ate it so much that I got sick of it. But you live in Georgia, Chick-fil-A is like, hey, let's get Chick-fil-A. And I say, I don't want to eat Chick-fil-A. And they're like, oh my God, you don't like Chick-fil-A? And I'll be like, hold on, like, I like it, but I ate it so much that now I'm sick of it. So and then if we're thinking about ordering food, like in the office for like our clients, and they were saying Chick-fil-A, and somebody was like, oh no, Tammy doesn't like Chick-fil-A, let's not bring up Chick-fil-A, something like that. So it's, speak with your own voice and say what you think, and then people will remember it. People will remember you for it as well.
Yeah. So, but I would like to say that comes with time. And it comes with practice, and it comes with some level of maturity. And the reason why I said this is this person's age is 21. So at that point, there's a pressure to want people to like you because you are way younger. You are younger in your career. You are probably talking to people that are way older than you. You can be easily dismissed because at that point you are probably just starting your career, and it might take a level of you proving yourself to an extent to actually get people to regard what you're saying. So when you're saying you don't like Chick-fil-A, like, yeah, it's good that you say it. You should learn to be able to say it. But I just want to say that it might take some time. When you go into a place and, you know, when you first meet someone, the person is already having voice, already having opinion, is already doing this. The person has an accent, is Nigerian. We are not from here. There's always let me not say always, but there's usually a tendency for people not, because they're not used to who you are or the type of person that you are. Sometimes it takes them time to adjust. So when sometimes you're in a place where you say something and people will just dismiss it, or somebody else will say the same thing
and
over what you said, and they will regard that person over you. It's not because what you're saying does not make sense. It's just because sometimes, and it's very unfortunate that you have to prove it, but to be very realistic, sometimes you have to prove your worth. Sometimes is when you now start saying, and that's why you don't stop talking, you don't stop putting in your hard work, you don't stop, doing your quality job and actually making people realize that, look, I got this job because I was actually good. I didn't get this job. So with time, then you become more comfortable with, doing certain things, saying certain things. But oftentimes when I first came here, it wasn't everything on my mind that I would say out. Some of the things I will internalize. And I also learned how to read the room. Some places, there are some things you say. Some places, there are not some things you say. Some things you can say now because you've learned the ropes. You've been in the work environment for a while. You know your colleagues and all of that. But when you are first moving into that new space, that net new space, there's always that pressure of, hey, I have to prove myself. Hey, people are not even listening to me and everything. So what I would say is, these things take time. In 2-3 years, your story will be different.
Very different.
So don't stop putting in the work. Don't stop talking. Like when you have an opinion about something, you can say, oh, I actually have an idea about this. Oh, what do you think? Or ask questions. Like people will really see that you are curious, because the other side of it is you are also introverted, and there's a tendency to just like shut down
and stay inside
every time
and
something every time something's
people
happening.
can have an opinion about you, that you are quiet.
Yeah, you're in a meeting, everybody is saying something, and you're like, oh my god, I just want to get done. You know, you're not saying anything. We are in an environment where people will read that as not being competent
and not being interested in what is going on and not wanting to learn.
Exactly.
And so it's associated with a lot of negative things, which it should not be, but that's where we are.
That's where we are.
That's where we are.
So you need to, don't, again, it's very stressful at first, because again, I also have to acknowledge it. We came here not as 21-year-olds, but even when we came here, we still had to learn the ropes.
Yeah.
So it's stressful at first. It's daunting at first, because it's something that you have to push yourself to do. As an introvert, you have to push yourself to make small talks. You have to push yourself to do things. You have to push yourself to talk about things that you did over the weekend, even when you did not do anything. But with time, then you are able to be more in control of what that is. But in the meantime, keep your head, girl. Keep your head high. God has not given you the spirit of fear. He has given you the spirit of boldness and of sound mind, right? So wherever you are, like, just keep telling yourself that God wanted me here, and I'm here, and He's going to give me power. He's going to give me strength.
He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world.
Exactly.
So knowing that you have the spirit of God in you, that should give you confidence, that should boost you. And also just be praying as well, like just like we mentioned, talk to God. Talk to God about it, and God will give you peace as well. So in whatever situation, like you have to go into a meeting, or even maybe you've come out of the meeting and you feel like you didn't do well, talk to God and say, God, I'm struggling with this, help me.
Exactly.
Give me favor, give me grace in the eyes of my colleagues, in the eyes of my managers, of everyone around me. Let them just favor me. Let your favor and your peace come upon me. Let your favor come upon me. So
exactly. And I was also going to say something about, like, community is also very important. I don't know what the situation in your workplace is, but if you have other Nigerians, if you have other people that you do just look like you in a way, or other people that, if it's just one person that wants to hear you or can speak to you or can speak for you in any way, it's very important to make those connections, because you also draw strength from other people. Like, I remember when we first came in, we had a Niger group that, we'll just, we've stopped the calls now, but I think it was like every other Friday or something, like we'll just be on the call and be talking about like what we're going through. Now we don't do that anymore, but there are still some people that I still talk to individually when some things happen. And then sometimes when I catch up with my other Nigerian friends, like we talk about these things, and then we just strengthen ourselves together and say, hey, it is what it is. So now you realize that, I'm not the only one going through this, somebody else is going through this, and then you begin to proffer solutions to yourself. So community is very important, relationship is very important, mentorship is very important. Ask God to give you people that will speak for you, right? Some people that will give you the opportunity to actually prove yourself. So it's a whole lot, but trust me, like I always say, in the next 2, 3, 4 years,
time is a wonderful thing.
You'll be shocked at where you are, and then you also look back and tell other people that are coming after you that, look, I've been there, and I was able to overcome it. So anyways,
it's just wonderful, because I was giving the example of my very first small talk reception networking experience, and I remember when I got my internship, they had like a celebration for us, and I think at the back of my mind, one of my goals was, if I'm coming for this, I need to know, like, I will know what to do and I will do it well. And at that point, I think we got in July. My first networking reception thing was in August. And then when I came back after I'd gotten my internship, it was in March. So how many months was that? August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. How many is that? 8 months. And at that point, I wasn't as good as I am now, but I didn't feel that overwhelming fear that I initially had, because now I could at least hold conversation a little bit. I could also ask some questions and just mix, and the way you have conversation here, you escape, not escape, but like you go to another one, very. So, and when I came back, I just felt very happy and excited and just glad, because I was thinking back to, okay, look at when I started, I was so scared. If I say anything networking, I'm afraid, my heart is beating, like, what will I say? And now I was still at that point, but it was a little bit better, because now I felt just a little bit more in control, and I could look at myself and say, okay, Omo-Olorun, you've done well, like you've improved, you've grown. So also give yourself that sense of grace that you are just starting out. You're going to improve, you're going to grow. Check yourself. 6 months from now, it will be a different story you're telling. 1 year from now, it will be a different story you're telling. So that's just the amazing thing about it. And I think this is just to everybody who, you know, you might be going through one thing or the other. It might be at work, it might be, and especially at work, I would say, because when you are new in a particular country, or you're even new in a company. So now we're talking about from the perspective of you moving to the US, which is true, but there's also company differences. What might have worked in the particular culture of a company will be different from what will work in a different organization or a different company. So what works in, I will always use the example of when I was in school, right? In school, it's not low stakes, but it's kind of low stakes as well, because you don't have a manager, you are not evaluated, you're just worrying about grades, you're worrying about like networking, you're worrying about let's say assignments. Like Terry was a very like academic school, so you had to know your book, you had to do your book, you had to do well. But your interactions with your peers also mattered, because at the end of every class, your peers will evaluate you, they will evaluate the work you do. So you know, that's also a way, so that's also kind of like simulating what the work environment will look like. So I would say the MBA program prepared, it started like the preparation for what you see in the workplace. But another aspect to it is, I'm sure now that if I leave my current job now and I go to a different job, I might have to start learning some of all these things again, but not from ground zero, because a different organization will have different work culture. It might have different, like the consulting is a lot of, you need a lot of feedback. You need to ask for feedback, you need to give feedback, everything is related to feedback. If you're not asking questions, there might be some other organizations that might be more hierarchical, and if you're on the lower rung, they don't want to hear your voice. You know, it's only maybe people that are like directors or VPs that in certain meetings they will talk. Then you just have to do the grunt work. So a lot of all these things also comes from understanding what environment am I in, what works here, what am I seeing that works for people. And something I also like to do is that, just like I was explaining the story of how I saw Toby and I was like, okay, you are good with small talk, let me emulate what you're doing, let me see what you're doing. Something I like to do personally is that if I'm in a particular environment and I see somebody that is winning or is successful at something that I want to be successful at, I just look at that person and I say, okay, this person is okay. I'll just profile the person and say, you are doing this, how are you doing it? And I'll just be watching the person. Okay, when the person wants to do this person says this, or he acts like this, or if he's leading meetings, you know, when there's a lull in conversation, the person drops a joke, and these are some tried and tested jokes, you know, things like that. Like, how will I now fit it to my own self? Because there's some jokes that Ebun will make that if I make it, will not land. But if I make it, you know, things like that, like how do I put my own spin on it? There was a meeting that I joined on one of my very first clients, and I think I've mentioned it before. It was like during April. Like I think we're coming up on April Fools or something, and everybody was joining, nobody was talking, like nobody was saying anything. You know, sometimes people just casually say things. So that was when I learned that if you're the one facilitating a meeting and while you're waiting for people to join, you can't just sit in silence. And the first thing he said was like, oh, does anybody know any, okay, I think it was after April Fools, so it was like, oh, did anybody hear any good April Fools jokes or something like that? The thing just brought up conversation. Even myself, I was saying, oh, I heard this one too, Kiniko. So that was something that I picked up, that okay. And it doesn't have to be something so great. So that was something I picked up from my manager, that okay, if I'm starting a conversation, I'm starting a meeting, I can just say, oh, if it's like on a Friday, what's everybody doing this weekend? Or on a Wednesday, how is it going? Or Monday, like, oh, how was, you know, just think about it and just look for something, and people will talk, people will do the rest of the work for you. So
I know we've spoken a lot. Hopefully this was helpful to our response, actually, because we already responded, but we just wanted to also talk about this again, just in case there is someone else who, you know, needs to hear this. So yeah, you are not alone. God is with you, and you also have community of people that God has provided you with. So yeah, we'll all be fine. That's cliche,
we'll all be fine
but
at the end of the day.
But that's the thing. Life. So I think we can wrap this up by, if you were to say something to your younger self, what would that be?
If I say something to my younger self, so it depends on which of the younger self there is now.
Pick one.
but I'll pick all of them. I would say I know the younger self I'm talking to, but
we don't know.
We don't know, but it's okay. That younger self has grown up. But I would say that it will all be fine, and do not be anxious for anything, just like the scripture that we've said.
Auntie, go into specifics. Which one is will not be fine? Like you tell you,
you allow me finish.
Even now, you're telling your older self that you'll be fine.
No. Sure, you allow me finish.
Oh, yeah, finish.
Because I think, well, I'll say growing up, because we're still growing up. There was a lot of anxiety on what do I want to do, and I don't know if you remember, there was a time when, I don't know if it was, maybe most of the ministers were just like, oh, you need to find your purpose, you need to define purpose, you need to kiniko. And it was like a burden on my head, like, God, what do you want me to do in this life? What is my purpose? Like, and it just felt very heavy on me, like, I need to figure this out. I felt like I need to know how to map my life and whatever, all of that, right? So I think just knowing that, just having the understanding now that God does not need to reveal the entire plan to you. He just needs you to be trusting him and focus on what is in front of you. So that's why for my maybe early 20s self, I would say focus on what is in front of you and think about how you can be successful at what is in front of you. Yes, have the big plans of, okay, you want to achieve this and you want to achieve that. But for what is in front of you now, be successful in it. And then God knows that you have the capability to do more, so that when he reveals more to you, you don't get overwhelmed. Because it's you thinking about that more when you haven't settled the little that makes you anxious and you're wondering, oh, how will you do this? How will you do that? Then to a much more recent younger self, the me that just started maybe when I came to this country and I was thinking, okay, what will my life look like and what? It will still be fine too. But also know that you need to also put in some work in, just like the things I was saying now, looking for people who have succeeded in these things and thinking about what can I learn from their story? What can I learn from what they are doing? What can I emulate? What are the lessons that they have learned? What are the places that they had pitfalls? And then thinking about how to avoid those things, right? They say history is the best teacher. So there are people, there's nothing that is new. There's nothing that we are going through that somebody has not gone through, that is not even in the Bible. So look at those people, look for people, look at their stories, look at, okay, how they overcome the situation that I'm currently in, and you will also overcome the situation if you are diligent, if you do what you're meant to do and trust in God. So I think that's the advice I will give to my younger self, my present self, my every self, that trust in God. Look at what is in front of you. The big picture is there, but trust God to do what is ahead of you, and he will sort out the rest. So I think even at this point, I think I've grown to the point where I'm not anxious about what will my life look like in 5 years, or what will my life look like in 10 years, or what is my quote unquote purpose, right? Like, I am working in purpose every day. As long as I am working in the will of God, I believe I'm working in purpose. So I'm not so worried about the things that when I was 21 or 22, I was thinking in the back of my mind. So yeah, that's my advice to my younger self. What's your advice to your younger self?
I have two things that I do. I have two things that I'll tell my younger self, and I think the most serious one is the people around you are your first level of network. I wish I had networked more when I was in secondary school, when I was even in uni, right? Like, I wish that, this whole idea of networking, like meeting people, your first level of network, the first set of people that your peers, basically peer networking, the people that in the next 10 years would be, all of you will, personally believe that a lot of people that at least I knew would eventually still blow. Some people have even blown, like, but when I
we
mean
are all
blow,
going to blow,
when I mean blow,
that,
like,
they're going to be the ones that are influential.
Exactly, that are running
Influential
things,
spaces,
right?
yeah.
And I wish I'd make some of those connections, way back. So if there's anyone who is like young, and I tell my siblings this all the time, like, when you go to school, the idea, and I growing up, the idea of school was go and pass, like, go and be first in maths, go and be second in maths. I wish that I had done more networking, that even as I was schooling, I was still, basically networking with people, like knowing people more and keeping those connections. So yeah, that's what I would tell my younger self. Second one is travel more now. Like, how would I be in Africa for how many years and I did not even go to any other country in Africa? Like, I tell people a lot, like, when we talk now, like, where do you want to travel? And I'm like, it's so weird that the only country I've been to in Nigeria, in Africa, is Nigeria. That's not good enough. God. Oh my God.
I've been to Cameroon. But
First
yeah,
of
you need
all-
to do better.
First of
Ebon.
all, nobody.
You need to do
First of all,
better,
nobody
Ebon.
asked you.
You need to do better.
Second
like,
of
oh
all,
my
the
God.
fact that you were sharing border with Cameroon does not mean that you have been to Cameroon. I beg, please. Omo-Olorun said in Calabar will not hear what again. No, you have not been to Cameroon. There are two different things.
It's not your bill, though. I've been to Cameroon. Let's go to Marrakesh, by the way.
Everybody is going to Marrakesh.
What's this other one? Let's go to Madagascar too.
What's happening there?
Yeah, I don't know. So you know what that Madagascar movie?
I have, but
So we can say we've been to Madagascar.
Let me even tell you one funny thing that happened to me. I got a message this week that said, "Oh, your record shows that you've been to Gabon this year," from work actually, and they were like, "Oh, like, are you still planning to go? Kiniko, were you compliant?" I said Gabon for where? I even thought it was spam, but it wasn't spam because I checked the person that sent it to me. I went on Teams. The person was actually working, like one of the GDS people was actually working. He's actually working in the company. I said Gabon as how.
The message is best to say how far.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's an error. Like, I haven't been to Gabon. I don't plan on going.
You know what? Maybe it's the laptop they gave you. You know, you just changed your laptop.
It's not
Maybe
the
the laptop was in
laptop,
Gabon before you came. They brought it for
The
you.
person that responded to me that no, you've actually charged time to Gabon before. So I now went to check my time sheet. So apparently, like, you know how we charge I don't know how it's your own
GA.
timesheet is, but we used to do GA 000. So and I put only GA, and the stupid timesheet did not populate the remaining GA. So I think that GA is Gabon.
Not there. You planning to go back there? You even polite question.
As in, I can't remember why I did not say. I wanted to send the screenshots with the Egbami, which one is Gabon again? Gabon is in Africa, right? I haven't met anybody from Gabon.
No,
Gabon is one of those countries that you just know the name.
Yeah.
So that was hilarious. I was like, okay. But I corrected it and I was like, oh, that's an error. Like, nah, I haven't been to Gabon. I don't even know what is in Gabon. If you have from Gabon, I beg, let me know. If you have cool things in your country, let me know. But I wish I traveled more. I know there was one time I was thinking of Ghana, because Ghana airline,
Ghana flights the time was not
was
bad.
150K. Now I don't even know how much they're charging. I'm sure they're charging like 1 million. But yeah, at that time it was so, like, it was very, and I've been to like other countries in other continents.
Yeah.
Just about Africa. So anyway,
That's even another conversation, because I remember there was a time we were also talking about how traveling to Africa, because it's so disconnected. Like,
but we could have like places
I'm
like
even
Ghana,
saying, like,
Kenya, Zanzibar, all those places. I know what you're saying. Like sometimes even within Ghana it's harder to travel. I say within Ghana, within Africa,
yeah,
sometimes it's harder. But like there's some low hanging fruits
you can
that
just,
we could have, especially with the ECOWAS passports, that we could have leveraged. So, but yeah, I'm planning to.
and apart from that, you need to have money to travel now.
But at that time, it wasn't that bad. Like at that time, that Ghana one I was talking about. In fact, I had it in my head because at my previous place of work, like the very first place I worked, we used to plan a lot of trips for people, and then I was very familiar with how much it costed, like what the logistics was going to cost me, because I was right in the middle of all the planning. So I was like, it was affordable at that time. It wasn't that bad. So
Before we even go to the rest of Africa, our Nigeria trip gone.
we never do Amagi.
We had a group
Calabar.
chat just which one was there again?
Tilapia, baby, in that place.
Tinapa. There was one place too in Jos, place to what?
There's even this place in Kaduna, but now Kaduna is even another story entirely. But there's this place. In fact, okay, it was Dami when I was living with Dami. I don't even know if she remember this conversation. She told me that she wanted to get married in that castle. So there's a castle in Kaduna.
Okay,
actually.
yeah. I think you sent me the picture. That picture was sent on our group chat too. That group chat we had
Was Dami on the? I don't think Dami was on that group chat. But I know she told me.
Yeah.
But I know she told me personally that she would have loved to get married. Like if she wanted to, get married in Nigeria, like that would be a really good place. So like we checked pictures and because we were living together at that time. So it was actually a really, really nice place. I've seen a couple of vlogs on that place. But my sister. So but I want to do Zanzibar, Tanzania, Kenya trip. Like that's my big trip. And then Ghana is a low hanging fruit, like I said.
Okay, you're talking about specifically for Africa, right?
For
Not like
Africa.
generally. Okay.
No, for Africa. Like Ghana is a low hanging fruit. I feel it's just that I haven't planned what my next big trip would be, but is a very this year I don't think that one will happen. But next year, by the special grace of God.
So let's apart from Africa, if we do general, what's it called now? Locations.
Where do I want to go?
Three.
I want to
Call
go to.
three.
I want to go. I want to do a Europe tour. So the next time in fact, I was talking to Chukudike this week that by the special grace of God next year, I have people in Europe. Paul is in Scotland. So my plan is I want to do a Europe tour. So Italy, Greece, Scotland, like some of those places that are France. I want to just do that in 2 weeks. So that's like my next big North Africa next big trip actually.
So is that your top 3?
So that's one.
Okay.
Then number 2 is I want to go to Japan. So there's this thing about Japan has I love fashion. I don't know if you know, but I'm a very simple girl actually. Let me start with that. So I'm not like put a butterfly on my back kind of fashion girl, but like I love simple and very classy and elegant fashion. Japan has some of that, and they have like really good designers that I will actually. So I would like to shop Asia generally, but like I think Japan and is it Korea?
South Korea.
Those 2 places.
So are those your number 2 and 3 or just number 2?
So that's
Either
number 2. I'm
okay.
categorizing them. Number 3.
Okay.
Number 3 will be my Africa trip actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one I just talked about in Tanzania.
Makes sense.
I'll have said Maldives, but I feel like Tanzania and Zanzibar would make more sense than Maldives, because that Maldives, it has to be me and a man first of all, and it's just water.
Take
it's
me
just,
with you.
Who's
I
you?
can
Who's
be
me?
your man.
Are you okay?
Why is it
I can't go to Maldives with you. I can actually, but I've seen people do. I think was it not was it Maldives they went to? Do you know Bolanle and Zainab? They used to do this yearly trip. They went to Japan for their last trip.
My own. I want to go to Venice.
I know you're going to say that.
Yeah. Number 2, I've been thinking. Okay, my number 2 is I can't decide between South Korea and Japan, but most likely South Korea because I want to see BTS in concert as one of those things. But it's either or, one of them. Then number 3, just for variety, like so that I don't put number 2 and 3 as South Korea and Japan. Number 3, also Switzerland. Like I want to go to Switzerland.
What's there? Chocolate.
Yeah, there is that, but there's also like I don't know. You know this thing about how we talked about peace today, like the most peaceful country and everything. I just feel like Switzerland is a very beautiful place from pictures I've seen and all of that. It's also part of Europe, so I think once somebody has like that, is it Schengen visa? And I think it's very easy to travel within Europe as well. So
I have to plan that my next year really well.
So my a colleague of mine actually traveled to Europe as well. So she did Switzerland, I think Italy, France, and some other place. So she did like 1 week. So they just did it like that. So I think that's what people usually do actually. So they just do like hopping from one place to another. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine is Venice, South Korea, Japan. Then my new one is Switzerland.
Yeah, I've not really thought about Switzerland before. But we'll see. My Europe people, I've told you now on the podcast, I'm coming next year. Get ready for me.
Next year is the year of travel. In fact, you start getting different stamps in your passport. So
next year. So yeah, get ready for me, Europe. At least by the special grace of God, I should, by the special grace of God, get to Europe next year. It's been a long time coming. It's just that this year is a very one kind year. It's not one kind. I'm fully booked is what I'm trying to say.
Fully booked. Hashtag
so
fully
yeah,
booked.
I can't slot
I
that
also
in.
want to
But
go to
next
Canada.
year.
I haven't been to Canada yet.
Oh, you've never? Oh,
Yeah. So I'm going to try and get their visa. So I also want to go to Canada. I have a lot of people in Canada as well. So that's also one. But
it's not like Canada is
like
a
our
very
neighbor. Yeah, it's our neighbor. So it's not going to be too expensive to go to Canada.
It's not like a destination that you like plan for and everything. So okay, thank you so much for listening to us.
Are we doing daily dose of you? Have we used
We've done it now.
Our advice our
Yes,
younger
now.
self. Okay. So we now went into our trips for the year. So please, we are putting up a GoFundMe link if you want to sponsor.
You're smart.
If you want to sponsor our, trips
Our
to
trip.
let's vlog it. Let's call you and say we are vlogging from Switzerland or we are vlogging from South Korea. So
and if you know brands that want to do
exactly sponsor trips, so that we can
trips and even fashion, what is they call them? You know this fashion that they used to do that they'll say See,
Get
let
ready
me
with me.
wait. No. Let me give you an idea. If you're listening to me, if you're a fashion person, better listen to me very well. Now, we are two people, right? And we are two people with different body types.
You
Now,
can do different styles.
exactly. So now, this is the perfect way of telling your customers that what is
That they are
good-
diverse.
You see, so
Your clothes will be good for Peter and Paul.
see. So you see that way, you are able to tell a story.
Actually, that
see,
makes sense.
Seller, if you are wise, contact me. Seller, if you are wise.
Contact us.
I have a whole plan in my head. It will help your career. It will help your
So let us help you to help yourself. I mean, help us to help you. I mean, there's what you do.
anyone way you say. I believe.
So,
All right,
Anyway, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to see. This is not even. I feel like these days we just say don't forget. See, I beg, like, subscribe,
share.
and drop your comment on
You can also-
Spotify.
yeah, drop a comment on Spotify. Drop
You
it on
can DM
YouTube.
us. What else? I
Girls
think
Glasses
we
God.
are working on a form that you can send questions to. Once that's live, we'll put it on our social media platforms and maybe also announce in the next episode. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Were you going to say something else?